They say we can't focus with ADHD, which is a load of rubbish. But ain't that we can't focus. If we find something that we do like, we hyper-focus. People we talk to on a daily basis are so negative. They'll say no 5-10 times before they even think of saying yes anyways. I think throughout the academic way of thinking is how we don't make mistakes. As soon as you ask someone a question or to do something, they first go to no. It's no before they say yes. Don't be afraid of those no's. Don't be afraid of rejection because it don't mean nothing.
If you're feeling in a rut and not hitting your goals, you need to speak to my next podcast guest, a man called Hisee. He's the UK's #1 unconscious mind therapist. He's worked with the likes of Stephanie Davis, Paul Gascoigne, Dame Kelly Holmes, and a bunch of Towie stars as well. Enjoy this episode and be happy and never content. Right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to my podcast, The Stephen Sulley Study. I'm very, very honoured to always get really good guests, people that I find very interesting. I only really like to having conversations with people that are go-getters, entrepreneurs, people that are movers and shakers in their sector. And Hisee is definitely that. So welcome on board and thank you very much for your time, brother.
Thank you very much for having me, Steve. Really appreciate it, buddy.
So unconscious mind therapist is what I think I should title you as, but you're probably more than that. You're an entrepreneur, you're a go-getter, you've got so many things in the pipeline, and also your network is quite phenomenal. So where should we begin? Tell me a bit more about how you got into this space of coaching and mind therapy.
How I got into it?
Yeah.
Well, that started in sales. I worked for the Germans. I worked for a Flemish company in sales. Got headhunted by the Germans. I started working for this German company called Weiner in Cologne in the UK for the products. But cutting it short, the CEO was like very inspirational. He'd come out, he'd treat everyone the same. He'd treat he'd treat one of his directors the same as he would the janitor, that sort of thing. Lovely guy. And he'd take me out, he'd teach me sales techniques on the road, and he could just deal with people, and he just blew me away, and I couldn't understand why is he so different than everyone else, And he started teaching me about NLP. I started off in, that's neuro-linguistic programming. Now I started off learning techniques with him out on the road, and I wanted to get into, I was in sales, I was doing really well, but obviously, I come from a working class area, I had nothing growing up, really poor. So when I had my little boys, I wanted my kids everything I never had. So it was all about getting my bonuses and everything. So I was always focused on the money at that age, just money for my kids. And so that's how I got into it. I started learning that. So I went and done a course in NLP to learn more about the mind so I could become better with people. And when I started it, being dyslexic with ADHD, I remember walking into the classroom and feeling right insecure. I've never been in the classroom since I was 14. I left school. I remember sitting at the back, and it's all middle class, a middle class thing really. Middle class is, most people you're going to find at these psychology events and training. So I was sitting at the back, felt right out of my comfort zone. And I just done a little diploma course in the Cotswolds. And just after that weekend alone, there's so much that you learn and you reframe, because with like unconscious mind therapies, like NLP, they look at the process of change, not the content like psychotherapists. A psychotherapist to look at the reasons why you're like it, and what happened and how you think. So you can analyze why you're messed up. But when it comes to the aspect of change, it's very slow. It's 2 years, even if they can make you change for anxiety, depression. There's not much talk about future-driven work. It's all about let's go back. And then you're setting your mind on what you don't want after time, and you're supposed to get what you want. You can't focus on drink and become clean. You can't focus on being skint and become wealthy. So the whole mindset to that was always wrong for me. So when I started learning this, I reframed a lot of myself, a lot of my mindset, just over this long weekend, and then I become addicted because I've got ADHD. When I find something I love, they say we can't focus with ADHD, which is a load of rubbish, because we don't focus on things that we don't really care about. And if we can try to care about them, if there's not that emotional connection, we don't feel it. If I was in a history class and the teacher's talking about the Second World War, to me it's all grey, boring. I just couldn't get excited, so I could never really get into it. But if they talked about Muhammad Ali, from the 60s, and how he become world champion, I think I'd write 10 pages of stuff, and the teacher would go, well, I see, if you put your mind to it, you can do it. So it ain't that we can't focus. If we find something that we do like, we hyper focus. So then after that weekend, obviously it changed, it reframed a lot of my values and beliefs and insecurities. I started seeing a bit of light, and then I was like addicted, like an heroin addict to drugs. You know, I was just addicted to it, and I just went and paid every course I could do, hit all the Americans, just to hit all the world's best, and just trained, sitting up to 4 a.m. when I was working, watching YouTube videos of what I've already learned till I fell asleep, and then the next day I'd get up and do it again. I just become obsessed. So, and that's how I started getting into it. Yeah, just through changing a little few beliefs in myself and getting addicted.
You know, you said something which I can resonate with, which is you got into sales. And I found myself in sales at 19, 20 years of age. I was first a plumber, which I absolutely hated it. I've said a few times in my podcast that if you don't have your own plan, you find yourself by default becoming someone else's plan. And I became my mum and dad's plan because they were like, that's what they knew. And they said, if you become a plumber or you know, someone in a trade, this
You'll
is
be
their,
safe. Yeah.
this is their word. This is their phrase. You'll never be skint.
Yeah.
And I always had that mindset, a bit like you. I don't want to not just be skint. I want to be very, very wealthy.
Definitely. Yeah.
And not money is everything, but it gives you a lot of choices. And just like my family now, I've got 2 boys. And I want to give them the experiences and the lifestyle that, I didn't have when I was younger. So anyway, I found sales, and one thing I know about sales, okay, you can make good money from it, etc., but it's the confidence that you get, because a lot of people in life are afraid of that no, afraid of that setback, afraid of that rejection. But sales teaches you to embrace it and actually, like you said, reframe. It's not no, it's just no maybe right now.
Yeah.
But in a couple of weeks' time, that no will turn into a yes.
Most people we talk to on a daily basis are so negative, they'll say no 5-10 times before they even think of saying yes anyway. So it's just the average way of thinking in this world. I think for the academic way of thinking is that how we don't make mistakes. As soon as you ask someone a question or to do something, they first go to no, in case something can go wrong, until they understand all, limitate all the problems that could come with that. So, it's no before they say yes.
Of course.
And I love what you just said then about what you were saying about your mum and dad. But I always say, if you don't see yourself through your own eyes, you're going to see yourself through other people's eyes. And that's when you get insecure and you start seeing worries, and listening to other people. And if you do see yourself through their eyes and you haven't got a vision, then that's what all your life's going to be. You're going to be looking at yourself for other people's perceptions instead of creating your own.
Definitely. And I think in sales, the art of using reframing is so important.
Massive, yeah.
Like when people say, oh, I can't afford that. And you kind of reframe it into something a little bit weaker, so they can interpret it a lot better. And we learn that in sales, but then sometimes we forget as humans to actually use it on ourselves.
Definitely.
Like sometimes my wife says it just because it's second nature. Say, oh, we can't do that. And I say, hang on a minute. Is it we can't do it, or do we need to figure out a way of how to
why can't you do it? What's in your way? There's always a way.
Yeah.
And it's like we say with sales. I used to love sales because when I was dyslexic. I left school. I had to lie on a CV to tell the truth. Just completely got my cousin to just blag me a CV to get into a sales training job in the first place. When I brought up on building sites with my dad, working as a labourer, mixing up cement, working in chemical factories, plant factories, painting, decorating, all that sort of stuff. So when I did manage to get later ones about 25, 26, and I blagged this job, and mate got into sales and go to this agency, so I blagged the CV. I thought, what have I got to lose? And they're going to chuck me out. They find out. They can only say, no, I've got nothing to lose. So I went for this job and I got this job. When I got the job and I started going out, I started banging, I couldn't believe how easy it was compared to what I'd been through. So all of a sudden they give me a company credit card, my own car, they pay for me insurance, and I'm going out on these meetings, and all they were doing is sitting there talking. So I thought, is this it? When I'm having my training week, I'm thinking, well, when's the work start? I couldn't get my head around. They were talking about just a load of crap. Mostly it was about football and stuff like that. To do a little bit on the products and they'd shoot off. And so for me, when I do like 2 or 3 clients a day, I could do 5 or 6. It didn't matter. Look, I had that higher drive, couldn't sit down and be bored. So I went out and just absolutely smashed it. And I remember sitting in this office one day with one of the other sales guys waiting for a meeting, and he was going, oh, Rob, I had such a hard day, I've had such a hard day. I've had to go to Bristol today and drive all. I was sitting there looking at him and thinking, you don't know you're fucking born, mate. I mean, I'm used to like a paddy on the building site going, get that shit up here, you little bastard. Yeah. Fucking hurry up, you little cunt. And, that's how they speak to you on the building site when he was like 14, 15. And I'm thinking, what are you on about hard work? You ain't got to, you ain't got a clue what you're talking about. This is luxury. It's easy. So I think that work ethic anyway was from being working class, having nothing, gives you that drive. Then with that drive, when I'm getting no's, I don't care about a no. What are you going to do? I look at, if you knock on 100 doors, one's going to say yeah. But the bigger clients that used to say no, with my ADHD, I'd become obsessed with them. I'd think, right, another month I'd come back every month. And in the end, you did build everything. You see him looking at you as you think, you see the colour going from their face, not him again, fuck me. And I'd walk in. But over time, you build a bit of rapport, and then one day the client would go, they've mucked up on delivery. I go, boom, that's me opening. I'll get one over. I'll get our product over. Is that the same one? To match that within 2 days from Germany, boom, boom, boom. All of a sudden, I found an opening, then I'm in there. But you have to be consistent. Yeah. And as you said, don't be afraid of those no's. Don't be afraid of rejection, because it don't mean nothing, does it? It's not. Yeah. It's only affects you. And it's what I see a load of sales guys, they'd melt if they got a no, and they'd be scared to ask for that close because they're scared of the rejection. But then you're wasting your time sitting there, and you're talking about fucking the euro, how much the inflation's gone up. Who cares? Get your money out. Let's do the deal, and I'm off. That's it. That's how I used to look at it.
Yeah, for sure. So I've got down here. You've worked with a lot of celebrities and quite high-profile people. Paul Gascoigne, to name one. Dame Kelly Holmes. A lot of Towie stars. I do want to pull up one that I found from The Sun. Now, I know The Sun's not the best newspaper in the world, but on the 8th of February 2022, this is what they said about your relationship with Stephanie Davis, who's on Hollyoaks, yeah? She revealed that she tried to kill herself and ended up in intensive care after an emotional post on social media. And then it talks about yourself, about how you basically started helping her, Robert. So tell me a bit more, if you could, about that relationship and how that all started with Stephanie.
Stephani's a lovely girl, and she's clean now. She don't drink alcohol anymore, but like we've all got someone we know who has a drink and they personality change. Like, it's not them. And when she was on Big Brother, she was doing really well in the TV world, wasn't she, with Ollie Oates, and she got in Big Brother, that Jeremy geezer, and she started boozing. And when she boozes, she just changes character. So everyone thought she was a nutcase, and she was acting like it. Don't get me wrong, and then she ended up having a kid with him, and there was a lot of abuse. I went to the courts with her. There was he beat her. There was pictures of bruising like you wouldn't believe. It was horrific, really. But so when I first met her, going back to probably, God knows how long ago it was quite a while back, 5 years, 7 years, I don't know. And I went in her house, and she was upstairs, and she wasn't in a good place mentally. And her mum said she's upstairs in bed. It's about 2 or 3 in the afternoon, and mum had the baby, and she come down, and she was really bad. But I remember that first day and working with her for about 3 hours. And then when I left, I had her on the piano singing, and the mum said, I ain't seen her laugh, Rob, since February, and this was June. So we started breaking the pattern in. So we had a lot of work to do with her. But once we done like a lot of reframing, I removed a lot of the emotional trauma which she was sitting in, and most of all, I got her to see the future, where she's going to. You've got these options. What do you want in your future? What future? She was just wrapped up in the pain of this Jeremy. She's got the baby on her own, all this trauma she's been through, the presser knocking at her door, taking pictures. They were just, at this time, they were just ruining her. She couldn't do anything she'd done was bad. I said, what do you want to do in the future? She went, I want to get back on Ollie Oates. Well, actually, they won't have me back. I said, but she said, that's one of my goals. And there's another one, I can't remember what it was, but anyway, so I went, right, let's close your eyes. We started doing visualization techniques and everything, and we started getting her just a little bit stepping into the future again, looking at that depression, which is your thoughts from here and now to the past, here and now to the past. That's what it's like when we're depressed. Started to get her to look here and now to the future a little bit. And when we started doing that, she started to smile. She could see what she wanted to do, and then we had some other couple of goals she had that were private, and that was it. So from there we worked, and then there was the court case come up. She had to go to court, and she was nervous. I went back, done another session with her. But I remember, we make our representation of the world through our 5 senses: our hearing, seeing, smell, taste, and feelings. If we didn't have them at all, we'd live in a quantum world. We wouldn't have a 3-dimensional world. Yeah. So we have to look at the way she was feeling about things, and create the emotional intelligence, if you like, of being strong enough to go to court. So, by using our senses, we can manipulate our emotions. So, for one, I said, right, close your eyes, see yourself walking in that courtroom strong and powerful. And she was going, All right, and I was going, so she was visualising. I said, now put a song to it. What sort of sound could you hear? As you're walking in, could you imagine in your mind? Like if you listen to a radio, and she went, oh, Rocky, dun, 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 dun. I went, right, play that in your head then. I visualise yourself working, and I got the song, and I played it on my phone, and I was getting her visualising, making these new neural associations, and she kept visualising it, getting the brain used to it. So when the brain gets there, it doesn't feel surprised. It feels like it's familiar territory. Actually, you don't have to physically go and do something 100 times. You can imagine yourself doing it, because the unconscious mind doesn't know what's real and what isn't. It doesn't know what you see in your three-dimensional world and what you see in your imagination. It releases the emotional experience to the event. So we're creating the emotion prior to the event. That's what we're doing. So anyway, I remember going to court with her that day, and I went, "You ready, champ? Go and get in there." And I could hear her as she's walking in. She going, dun, 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 dun. I could hear her actually miming it as she went in. And she walked in there. She was she'd done really well. Because seeing now what a mess she was, she got in there and she let rip, and she told him the truth. I mean, to be fair, I don't know how he didn't go away, because it was he had a touch. Do you know what I mean? To be honest with you, I think he got community service, something, he had a right result.
So he was basically bashed it up.
I bashed the life out of her, yeah.
Really?
Bruises head to toe. Yeah, mad stories that I can't say on here that she told me, like, are horrific, like just mental. And all the time she's going through this trauma, where is everyone, where is everyone from the TV world and that? No one's there. None of the Auntie Holly Oates, no one looking after her. She was just left because she looked a mess, because she was always drunk and she was screaming, crying out for help. And when she gets drunk, she does silly things. I say, like committing suicide and all sorts of madness. And, she is a lovely, I'm not just saying it, people had the press and that painted the complete wrong picture. She's one of the loveliest. She'd give you her last pound. She'd do anything for anyone. If anything, she's too soft and too loving. That's why she got, led into and manipulated into with his skeezer. But lucky for her, after I introduced her to Peter Unjay's manager, Claire Powell, who's an amazing TV agent, by the way, Cam Promotions or Cam Management. And I said, right, and I told Claire, I said, look, she wants to get back into Hollyoaks eventually. So we started doing it, was visualising, and guess what happened? Claire went and see him for her and said, listen, boom, boom, boom. They said, we can't trust her at the minute. We've got to see how she goes. We said, we'll give it 6 months and then we'll talk. So, she started working with Claire. She went to the rehab. She's cleaned herself up, and there you go. She created it. What she manifested, what she visualised come true. She got back on Hollyoaks again. Now she's very happy with her new partner. Kids growing up. Kids, a beautiful little boy. And, she's living the life that she wants. And she is a really nice girl and very talented, she's a very talented young lady. Her voice is unbelievable. I think, we all look at her for acting. I don't know why she doesn't do more of a singing or West End shows, because her voice is absolutely phenomenal. Because that's how she made it. She became famous on, do you remember, what's his name, does all the theatres? I can't think. Angela Weber. Okay. He had a show. I can't remember what it's called, but it was like the winner got to go on a West End show or something like that. And she come third in it. She was 16 years old. So that's how she broke through to the TV. So if you ever know Stephanie Davis sing, have a little listen on YouTube. She's amazing.
Yeah, I'll definitely do that. Just one more example as well. So went from someone relatively famous being on Hollyoaks, but then someone that I would say is a normal guy, but, let his life slip away from him. At his worst, he was 33 stone. You probably know who this is.
Yeah,
Jack Gibbons.
Jack Gibbons, yeah.
On the 27th of January 2022, The Sun, it might be 2021 actually, I tried to eat myself to death. As one of the UK's fattest men, I've had 6 cheese toasties for breakfast, but look at me now. And when I was looking through his story and also some of his pictures, I mean, he was a big guy, 33 stone, had sores, had problems obviously with his back and legs, etc. And he literally said he was smoking a joint to encourage himself to eat more food so he could basically
die. Yeah,
just overeat.
Death, yeah,
which is must be a very painful way to go. So, like with someone like this, I mean, Stephanie Davis, okay, more high profile, and seems like, with the drink and drugs and stuff, could be quite kind of careless at points, and also very, very emotional and maybe erratic, and maybe because of the pressures of her being on TV that caused her to be a certain way when she was drunk. But this guy, how do you kind of approach someone like this?
I didn't even charge Jack. I reached out to him. I see him on Insta. He might have messaged me, and I looked at him, and there might have been some like negative post or something he put up, and I reached out. I said, "What's happening, son? How you doing?" I said, "Look, you know, this is what I do, bum, bum, bum. He said, oh, Rob, I can't believe you messaged me. I'll give you a call. I said, yeah, call me. I was out at the time. Call me tomorrow. So I was out walking and the phone rang and I had a chat with him on the phone for about an hour and a half. And, you know, I didn't have to be with him from that moment. He just started changing. So I sat and spoke to him why diets don't work. See, when you're that overweight, the last thing you want to do is try putting him on a diet. He ain't going to eat salad. He's not going to stop drinking Coke and eating fucking burgers and you know, it isn't about dieting. See, losing weight and eating healthy are two different things. There's certain levels, you know, when you get thin and you get in shape, you get a good look body, you can start eating healthy and you can do that. But if you want to lose weight and sustain it, you've got to understand it's the law of physics, yeah? So if I don't care what the fucking food is, if you had a bag of food this big, like, you know, size of a football, over a week, the chew down amount of food, or you had the chew down amount of food over 5 footballs, well, you're going to be fatter. I don't care what the food is, you're going to be fat. It's law of physics, right? So if you put that on the scales as well, I've had a set of scales, put 5 footballs in 1 football, you're going to see the scales go down at the 5, yeah? It's physics. So if you look at through the physics, it's so much easier for people to lose weight and sustain it. So I taught him to have a fistful of chew down food, yeah? Eat fistfuls of chew down food, eat what you fucking want, Jack. I don't get pizza, whatever. But have a chew down fistful, and you can't eat for 2 hours in between, yeah, at least. Sure, I have 3 meals a day, but you know that ain't good enough. For you still to do this, you still have to have a vision. So you can't come away from fat. You know, like I said earlier, people focus on food. Yeah, there's only 8% of the population that studies show that can do weight loss diets like a gym goer. If you're getting fit in a gym, you have to, you know, break things into detail, like have that many carbs, that much protein. People that can sustain that the whole life is 8%. That means them diets ain't about calorie deficit. They're about eating probably more calories sometimes. I've got a mate, he's 4,000 calories a day, he's at 14 stone because he burns so much off. He don't want to burn his muscles, so he has to pump up the calories, yeah? So it's not the same thing, but weight loss diets, the other 92% of the population have a fucking 100% failure rate. 100%. No one has ever sustained the weight loss. No one's been on Weight Watchers at 17 and not broke the rules till they were 86 looking like a fucking rocket. It's never happened. No one's done it on Jenny Craig. No one's going to do it on Herbalife or anything. Yeah, it can't be sustained forever. You're going to have to come off here and there, yeah? So if something can't be sustained, it don't work. End of. So I told you, this is what I taught Jack. Diets, why diet? So I look at the unconscious processes. I don't really care about the content. So I don't care what the diet is. This is what's going on underneath it. They teach you to think about food more than what you normally do, because you've got to think about your carbs. Your good carbs are bad. Carbs are trans fats, saturated fats. What you're having for dinner, what you're having for breakfast, what you're having for lunch. You're not with this weak fucking meal plan, yeah? So you've put on weight, and now they teach you to think about food more. The whole focus around a diet is food. Yeah, that's what you put your mind on, that what you can and can't have. And I said to you earlier, you can't focus on being skint and become wealthy. You can't focus on fat and becoming thin. You can't focus on food and not eat. It's not going to happen. So, you know, the first thing of diets teach you to think about food. The second step of diets is restriction. Now, this is massive. The only way your body can crave anything is if you can't have it. Isn't it? If you can't have something, you crave it. So, you know, no one cares about their washing machine, for instance. But when it breaks down, you can't stop thinking about the fucking thing. Fucking, I've got to get the washing machine. Mum, you got that geezer who does the washing machines. It comes around, look, love, it's broke. You need the drum's gone. You need a new one. No. And you can't stop thinking about it. The washing's getting up. The kids need their school uniforms done. And you go and buy one, you plumb it in, you don't talk about it again. But when it's broke, you can't stop thinking about it. So, you know, we can only crave things we can't have. So the only way you can create an emotional craving for food is to believe that you're restricted from it. So you're taught to think about food, you're then restricted from food, which creates the craving. So you go on a weight loss diet for 2 weeks, right? You're Jack, say, 33 stone. You go on a diet for 2 weeks. If he can sustain 2 weeks, that's going to be fucking hard for anyone at that size, that mental strength, yeah? Willpower means you're willing to do something you don't want to do. You don't want willpower, you want the will. I'll explain that later. So willpower, right? So Jack, his focus is, he needs to create a vision. So I get him to visualize the body that he wants, where he wants to be. Yep. So I get him to close his eyes on a daily basis, and you've got to see what you're seeing. So I got him on the phone. So close your eyes. What do you want to look like? He said, I can see myself about 18 stone. Right, it's over under half his body weight, more than half his body weight. I said he had to lose. I said, okay, visualize that. So he's visualizing. As he looked there, he's going, yeah, he looks good. He's got energy. I can see him like running down the road. And he started getting into it. I said, that's it. Now you've got to keep that alive, because when you close your eyes and you see yourself at your end goal, Your unconscious doesn't know what's wrong with it isn't. You create the emotions inside your mind. Your biochemistry changes in your brain. Your cortisol level will drop 30-40%. Your serotonin, dopamine, endorphins, and all these other wonderful hormones will release to 40% of what you're seeing in your mind as if it's already real. So as you visualize that, what happens is over 30 days, we build a new neural pathway. And then our energy starts running through our old pathways and now starts firing through the new pathways. So you start to feel like you're a thin person, even when you're a fat person. But you ain't got to visualize as much, it's already there. But I don't stop him visualizing because, we want to keep this up. So Jack was visualizing himself at his end goal. That's what creates the will. So I've got him to think about food. I'm going to get back to diets, but I'm getting all muddled up with my ADHD. I get too excited, so sorry about that. So diets teach you to think about food, Steve. They then restrict you from food. And after 2 weeks, someone goes to you, oh, you look well, you lost a bit of weight, son. You think, oh yeah, I've been on this diet, been doing really well. The worst thing someone says, because now you feel buzzing, you're looking for that excuse. You look in the mirror when you're getting and think, yeah, I lost a bit of weight off my chops. You know what? I'll have a little treat. I'll have a biscuit. What happens is then you've just broke the restriction because your belief system says you can't break the rules, right? So you think about food, you're restricted from food, you eat that biscuit, fucks, now the cupboard's doors are open, the sandwiches are going down your mouth, the crisps, the chocolate, and you sit there and you think, fuck off, what a failure. What have I done that for? What did I eat all that for? I fucked it up.
And then you get depressed and you start eating
exactly. And then you end up another 2 weeks before you even think about starting again. So you think about food, you're restricted from food, the restriction breaks, and then guess what? You feel like a fucking failure. So guess what happens is you try again. That diet didn't work for me. It did work. I lost weight because visually it's like magic. You look at the magic trick, you're losing weight fast, but you don't realise you're getting fatter over it. You don't see it's making you fat. They direct your attention to the weight loss. So you think, I did lose weight on that diet. Yeah, you did. You was the calorie deficit and you lost weight. But guess what? You lose weight fast on the diet, and you slowly put it on and you start getting bigger, right? Because you're eating more. Because the brains don't want that restriction to come back, yeah? So then you start putting a bit more weight on, and then it goes, fuck, I did lose weight. I don't try another one. You try another diet. I don't care what diet is, name anyone. You think about food, you restrict from food, restriction breaks, feel like a failure. Boom, you try again. Then you try another one, you try and fail. You start to notice you can lose weight on a diet, you can't keep it off. I can lose weight on a diet, I can't keep it off from getting bigger. I lose weight on a diet, I can't keep it off from bigger. Then you think, what's the point of trying? I tried every diet out there. Now, someone like Jack would normally go on a gastric band, gastric sleeve, cut me fucking gut in half. It's broke your belief system down so much that you believe the best thing for you is to cut your gut in half. That's how fucked up it is, yeah? So this is the mindset behind it. You try and fail, try and play. You're seeing visual proof that you're fat and you can't lose weight. So by dieting on these weight loss diets, you don't get a mindset of power, empowered strength and confidence. You start to see more proof that you're fat and you can't lose weight. So you build this belief system that's bulletproof. So you build a belief system that says, yeah, I'm fat and I can't lose weight. I'm fat and I can't keep it off. And now you're fucked, because that's when I say you're going. They look for me like I'm a fucking wizard or something, I'm a magician, or they're going to have the op. And this is where Jack was, but Jack was worse. He just tried killing himself. He couldn't take it anymore. His uncle, I think his uncle died of weight, and he went to hang himself. And what happened? He was trying to hang himself, and I think he stopped last minute. Something happened, or the rope snapped or something, and he said his mate knew something was wrong, and lucky enough followed him up to the yard, and he started bursting into tears. And that's when he got in touch with me the next couple of days. So I put these things in place with him to think about food restriction breaks. I taught him it don't work, right? Actually got to eat what you want. I said, the reason why I'll tell him he had to eat what he want, because if your brain gets used to eating what you want and controlling the amount, yeah? So if he thinks I can have pizza crisp, he ain't thinking about food. You can't think about things, you don't crave things you can have. You can't crave a cup of water. Who fucking craves water? You can drink as much as it. No one craves water because it's no calories in it. So everyone craves flavoured drinks, yeah? But if it's on a desert island for 2 weeks with no water, you'd soon be fucking, people drink their own fucking piss and things like that. So, when you crave it, you'll have it. So this is what we've done with him. So I got him to, first of all, we had to get the visualizations in, close his eyes every day religiously. And then talking about diets. I said, we've got to have his 3 fistfuls of food, eat what you want. So and it was funny because I watched his journey when he lost 4 stone. His first 4 stone come off pretty quick, and when the people started seeing it, they wanted to know him, jump on the bandwagon. How's he doing that? And all his fitness bods were going, because he's putting up like a chicken, rice, and a bag of sweets in the middle. And people going, you can't do that. He goes, I'm not on a diet. Well, how are you losing your weight then? And people going, I'll eat what I want. And people were getting, so these fitness going, well, that ain't right. You're not going to be healthy. So I'm fucking healthy. I'm 33 stone. You don't worry about health. You could be healthier when you're under the obesity rate. Once you're over that obesity rate, you're fucked. There's 4,000 types of illnesses. It doesn't matter. You're not healthy anyway. Get underneath it. Yeah. Once you get underneath it and you want to start being healthy, do it. But you're in red alert, baby. Let's get that fucking fat off. So, and the mindset ain't ready. You can't take someone 33 stone and make him eat salad and they're going to sustain it. That restriction's too much. So what we've done is we just chunked it down. So, instead of 3 bottles of Coke, have 1 bottle of fucking 1 litre of Coke a day, whatever. So we just chunked him down. And, and actually he started going for walks. Like literally within 2 weeks, he started climbing. Like he couldn't walk around his house the first day. And within 2 weeks, he was walking up like this sort of semi-mountain in up north somewhere, and he took a picture at the top of it. And now I think he's down to about 20 stone, 22, 21 stone, I think he is. So he's 33 stone, so he's done like, say, nearly 13 stone, 12 stone. And he wants to get down to 18. But, he's been doing boxing.
MMA, yeah.
He's doing MMA. He's on bike rides with his kids that he could never do. He thought he was dead. Like, the kid's only 28, 29. I think he's still a young man. And every day now he's got on his, if you look at Jack's journey on, go to my own Robert Hisee on Instagram. If you look up Jack, I can't remember what his page is, Jack's journey something. You can watch him, like how much he's lost and what he's doing. It's amazing. He's doing inspiration. He wears T-shirts with "I am unstoppable," so I get him affirmating as well. So "I am unstoppable" is his little slogan, and he's inspiring others now to lose weight. Why he's still 20 stone? People are going, "You're amazing what you've done." And when I do my UMT courses and train people in the mind, he comes and does a little talk. You know what I mean? He comes, does a little chat and that, and all the girls start crying because his story is pretty horrific when you hear what he went through and able to kill himself and everything. And now he's.
I was just trying to find my stay there because you mentioned about affirmations. I've always been taught to do it. To have a little bit of a vision board at the front of my thing.
Steve.
I have a mission statement that I read out every single morning, and I try and do it every single night. So I do it every morning, and then what I do is I go into my affirmations and I sign it, I date it. And I do that, and that's before I start any work.
Fucking love that.
Yeah, just keep
that is a ritual. And look how successful you are, brother. I mean, you've turned the world of art round in the UK, mate. This street art's absolutely unbelievable. But
I learnt all that through sales, because sales for me is all about. It's very much like an athlete. So I always talk. The reason why I've had a lot of boxers on there is one, because I box.
Yeah.
But two, there's such a big. So much synergy and consistency between a salesperson or someone in business and an athlete, but especially a boxer. A boxer or an MMA fighter, someone in combat sports, as a salesperson, it's almost you either win that fight, beat someone up, or you get beaten up. You either make the sale or you don't make the sale. There's kind of no middle ground to it.
It's a lot of courage.
And if you don't put the work in outside of the ring or outside of the office, you're going to get found out once you're on that call in that ring. Definitely. And it's about mind over matter scenarios, and it's the gateway in sales to personal development. So when I started understanding about affirmations, personal, positive, present, writing it down like you've already achieved it, and then having a vision, like a vision board, and even with the body, like. Used to have get a good body and put your head on it, to imitate that was your body and stuff like that. And I do believe if you keep on just thinking about it, you create this kind of target-rich environment, and then you start attracting things into your life. And I 100%. said this a few times. A friend of mine said, define the law of attraction, because I know you speak about this as well, but he said it in a really good way. He said, to engage the law of attraction, you need to become attractive.
Yeah.
And what that means is becoming an upbeat, best version of yourself. And what I mean by that is eating the right things, training the right way, thinking the right way, being around the right people, being positive, upbeat, and being on this mission to complete a successful kind of strategy that you've laid out for you, your family, your life, your business. You start pulling in opportunities into your space, and that can lead you on to your goal. And it comes down to these basic little things like affirmations, having the goals.
I love that one. I never heard that one before. That's a good one. You have to become attractive. I'll be using that now. Yeah. That's a good one, definitely.
Yeah. So go on. Yeah, go on.
No, please go on.
So going back to these two scenarios, I mean, I do want to ask you as well, like the relationship with like Paul Gascoigne, who's obviously a massive former Premiership footballer. I mean, like an icon. Legend. And also Kelly Holmes, I mean, phenomenal athlete as well. But when you see like Stephanie and also like Jack Gibbons, you're human. So even though you are this professional that can help other people. But when these people are breaking down in front of your very eyes and you witness it for yourself, there must be a moment, Robert, where you kind of start feeling susceptible yourself, like a bit emotional. Or not, you not really. Weather it.
I don't work like that. I'm not a psychotherapist. I don't want to hear your shit too much. I don't want you to sit and talk about your anxiety for 5 hours because you're putting your attention on anxiety. So I'll look at the processes so I can quite disassociate. Listen, there is stories that I do cry. Don't get me wrong. I sometimes sitting, I can feel their pain. It's so bad. But I don't stay there too long. We get through, that's the first bit of the session. Then after that, I'm more about the opposite way. I want to take you into the future. We're going to start creating. We're moving forward, yeah? I have to remove trauma sometimes, quite a lot at the beginning, but I'll get that done. I'll get that out of the way. And then the predominant thought of their mindset is going to be going where they're going, so what they want. You know, how's it going to look? How's it going to feel? And I'll get them to go in the right direction. So, yeah, I do get a bit of that, but a lot of the time I stop people dead because if someone's going to tell me anxiety, I don't need to know what anxiety is. You get sweaty palms, heart palpitations, you're scared of going out the ass, whatever it may be. I've heard it all before. There's nothing else to tell me about their symptom of anxiety. I don't give a fuck because my way I work is I like to deal with the cause of the problem and change the way they felt about the cause. I don't give a fuck about the anxiety. Anxiety is the effect of the problem. So if I cut your hand and you start bleeding on that table, I'll keep wiping the blood up, right? What's going to happen? There'll be more blood there, and I'll wipe it up again. That's what psychotherapy does. Wipe the blood. That's I'll do some deep breathing, wipe the blood, and it comes back again. Yeah, you're not fucking about with the cut. That's the anxiety. The blood's the anxiety. I want to just stitch up the cut. That's where it's at. You got to stop the bleeding. So I'll go back to the cause and see why the cause of anxiety is. And sometimes when people go, I can't find it, then we have to reprogram it. Fuck the past and start recreating the future. So what I'll do is then I'll put them into what they call feeder state. That's our brainwaves from the age of, from our brainwave state from when we're born to the age of 7 is what they call feeder. It's 50% three-dimensional, 50% our imagination, yeah? So in that state, it's between 4 and 8 hertz. So I will take someone down into like meditation or hypnosis into that state, go under the operating system, and then start creating thoughts of the future and affirmating in that state, because after the age of 7, we've downloaded all our subconscious programs. And when you've got, like you said, belief, like I said before, when I was talking about you believe that you're fat and you can't lose weight, that's now a subconscious program. You can affirmate for 5 minutes in the morning, but the rest of the day you're calling yourself fat, greedy, and saying things to yourself like I can't stop eating and all that. You're 95% slagging yourself off and only 5% affirmating. It ain't going to get you anywhere. So we have to go under the operating system, take him into that state. Have you heard of the feeder state? Have you heard of that sort of brainwave state?
Sounds familiar.
So we're at beta state at the moment. Me and you, our analytical minds. And so if I go to you, what do you like? Do you like what sort of food you like? Your brain goes, starts going analytical. I like this food. I don't like thingy too much because of this, and I could eat this and I can't eat that. We get very analytical, yeah. But when you're at the age, I'll give you an idea. So we're like coaches as parents. This is what I fucked up a little bit myself. I never really got this to a bit later on in life, but I never realised up to the age of 7. We try coaching our kids like we should do after the age of 7, like a football coach. We're no different as parents. That's what we do. So if I said to you, listen, if you don't run 3 miles a day, you ain't playing Saturday. And now you've got a choice. You, as an adult, you can listen to your subconscious pride. I want to play Saturday. No, I don't. I ain't fucking running it. Or you can go, no, I do want to play. So then you go, you make a choice to go and run. But if you say to a child, if you don't do this, you ain't going to get that. You don't look at that. It ain't under the age of 7. They haven't got. That's a program. They take that information on as a command. I won't basically saying I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to make it. Does that make sense? I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do it at school. So we use adult language to kids where really we should be telling them how great they are. Even if they're not. You know, if you tell kids, there's loads of studies telling kids they're intelligent up to the age of 7. When they get to school, they can't wait to take the work on because they feel that they've got the ability to do it. So they learn quicker. There's like loads of proven studies on that. So, you know, we should be just telling our kids the outcome like you're doing to yourself now before they have to do it when they're older, which is difficult. Don't get me wrong, when they're pulling the plugs out and fucking putting their hand in the I was going to say videos, but I'm showing my age now, but you know what I mean? So in feeder state, up to the age of 7, we live in a hypnotic state where everything's a command. So when you close your eyes and meditate, you put a bit of soft music on, focus on your breathing, take a few deep breaths. Any voices pop into your mind, remove them, slowly go back to listen to the music. Then your unconscious thought, well, wait for dinner later, remove it, go back to the music. You feel yourself drifting deeper into feeder state. And when you feel yourself sort of like breathing soft, you feel like a sleep-like state. That's the best time to affirmate and visualize. And anyone listening at home, when you wake up in the morning, when you wake up and you sort of bang off the wall, that's feeder state. Or when you wake up in bed and you're awake but your eyes are still closed, you're still in feeder. Affirmate, use that. Don't save you having to meditate. Just get straight in, visualize, and get your affirmations going while you're sort of drowsy, because you're still in there a little bit.
Yeah, makes sense. You said something as well. So I listened, I haven't done so much recently, but Tony Robbins is someone that I've listened to so much. And he spoke about two different scenarios where clients come to see him personally. He's trying to shift their mindset away from the addiction or emotions that they're feeling, etc. And the one that stands out for me, the two, I think the first one was simply a lady came along who was suffering from depression. He said, right, sit down. She sat down, and then she straight away, her whole body went into this this very low self-worth like state. And she started really getting emotional. Before she could begin crying, he picked up a cup of water and chucked it over her.
Pattern break.
And she was like, what are you doing? And exactly what you were saying, shifting her mind away from the state she was in into something else. And he said, even that cup of water could just change her state. And the guy with the cigarettes, I don't know if you remember this one, he said, I'm addicted to cigarettes, I can't stop. He went, all right, light a cigarette. So lit one, light another one. And he got to like 4, he's like, I don't want no way. He went, no, light another one. And he made him smoke so much that the guy was sick. And now he affiliated smoking.
A new neuro association. Yeah, I love that.
Smoking with being sick.
Exactly. This is the same way I work. I work with things like that, using your unconscious mind, because he's making a new association. So everything we do has a neuro association. So I'll give you an idea. We've got our 5 senses: our hearing, seeing, smell, taste, our feelings. We all run. Most of our programs, subconscious programs, run through our visual, audio, and kinesthetic, meaning our feelings. Hearing, seeing, and feelings. So I'll give you an idea. I could put a song on in a minute. Or you could be sitting at their radio and old songs are playing all day, and all of a sudden, boom, this song comes on. You ain't heard it for years. Like, I got one called Mambo No. 5, right? I never ever bought the song. I'm not owning up to it, right? But when I was about 22, something like that, I remember going to Greece, and back then CDs got to Greece, so all the tracks were out from America a year before they hit the UK. And I remember being out on this table dancing, and Mambo No. 5 come, a little bit of Monica in my life. And now I cannot hear it for years, but I'll tell you what happens. I could be driving down the road, and on the radio it'll pop up. As soon as it comes on, I get an external audio, the song, triggers off an internal vision of the event, and I see myself looking down on the bar, and I start to feel happy. Because long-term memories are highly emotional experiences. That's why we don't have a short-term memory. That's why we forget loads when we're kids, but you remember pissing yourself in front of all your mates, or breaking your leg, or having your first fight, or getting your first... So anything highly emotional, that's what a long-term memory is. So we get neuro associations to these songs, but other songs you don't. There could be loads of songs like that year. So does that make sense? So... No, that's like one way of getting a neuro association, and other things can be like looking at a pair of trainers. You think, I had them back, and they're well old. I had them back, and it takes you back with you and your pal sitting on the streets having a fag and a tin of beer or something. You know what I mean? So there's neuro associations everywhere, and that's what he's doing there. It's just rewiring the association. This is why I talk about visualizing. People don't realize it's so powerful that if you're scared of flying, and you're in your house and you know it ain't real, because the conscious mind will fuck you up. It'll go, well, it ain't real. You're not on a plane. Good, you don't want to be on a plane. You're in a panic attack. So if you know you're in a safe environment, stuck to the floor with gravity, and you're not on a plane, you go, right, but I'm going to close my eyes and imagine what it's like if I could enjoy flying. What would that look like? And if you ask that opportunity of like, that idea of what would it be like, and you close your eyes and you see yourself on a plane with your wife and kids or whatever, and you start to smile and you're looking forward to going to this holiday destination, you open your eyes, you had a little mind kicks right back in and goes, oh yeah, but how you can do that? You are scared of flying. Shut that fucker off. It's not real. Just make it like you're at the cinema watching the movies, yeah? You don't judge Superman. You don't think, he can't fly. It's fucking stupid. You don't. You just let it go, didn't you? You surrender yourself to the movie and you watch what happens. And that's what you got to do, your visualizations. Yeah. Close your eyes, see yourself on that plane. But what will happen is you start opening good, because you're creating it in your mind. The unconscious don't know what's wrong. It isn't. So it sees you being happy on the plane. You start to practice the memory of that. So over 30 days, we actually create future memories. Our memory can hold future memories and past memories. So the difference is past memories come from like, I'm here with you today, so I'm going to remember this. And, we're a lovely chat next door, and it's really eye-opening what you do. So I'm going to remember that now, yeah? So something externally happened, went into my memory. But we can also create visions of future. And as we visualize the future, once that will after time store into our memory, then we have a future memory. So guess what happens then? It gets made first inside the mind, and then the future memories then get made outside the mind. So does that make sense? Past memories come from an experience, they go in, then we can create in, and they get created out. So everything gets made twice. So if you look around this room now, except for what comes from nature and the earth in its original form, see if you can find me one thing in this room that never started as a thought in a human's brain from the beginning of mankind until today. As a vision. Tell me one thing that's in it.
Water.
Comes from nature and the earth in its original form, but bottled water, it's a thought,
Yeah.
So, go again. I'll ever give you the inside and outside of every building in Soho.
Go on.
See if you can find one. Except for what comes from nature and the earth in its original form, trees, plants, cats and all that. See if you can find me one thing that never started as a thought. You can have the inside and outside of every building in London. I'll put it as nothing, bruv.
Yeah.
You can have the whole globe, Paris, New York, whatever you want. The inside and outside of every building, even a screw, a window. There's not a door tree. There's a tree, but it's made out of wood, but we have to knock a tree, cut a tree down and create a vision of a door, So when people become aware that everything gets made twice, and wherever you look about, everything you're looking at started as a thought. Human beings are creators. So the visualization should be saying what we do, but it gets knocked out of us at school. Stop daydreaming, get on with your work. They're making academic workers. I get it. I get how we got to become civilized. I get we need that. But, you are a creator. All humans are. The proof's in the pudding, right? What would the world be like if we never learned to create thoughts? We'd be standing here start bollock naked in the fucking woods. There'd be nothing.
Yeah.
Would there? Be nothing. No watches, no clothes, nothing, So you're wearing a thought. You're sitting on a thought. We're talking into a thought. Everything gets made twice. And that's a good stepping stone for people to start with. That if I can't see it in my mind, how's it going to happen outside here? Like a sat-nav, If you don't put a postcode in a sat-nav, how can it fucking direct you? I can direct you. You have to put a postcode in. What is a postcode? It's a final destination. If you don't put the final destination, it can't direct you. How do you able to have a better life if you can't put a final destination in your mind for it to direct you? So what you're doing every day is amazing. I love that, what you do there. And that's really in depth. And, so anyone at home, I reckon you should have a go at that. And what's the first one called? The big page? Your mission?
So on the left-hand side, I cut out like goals.
Yeah, you got your vision board.
My vision board. And then
what's the next one?
Then next to it is called my mission statement.
I love that.
Yeah. So part of me coming into the new year, every single year, and I buy a new book, which is blank. I put new pictures in there. And then I also write out a mission statement. And I just... The goal with it is just to fill out that page. It has to be the full page and it cannot go over.
Okay.
And as I write in it, I kind of know what I want to say, but I just free flow it, and it's all like affirmation type, incantation type wording, and it's like I'm going to get the very best out this year. I'm going to be traveling the world. Me and my family are going to experience the very best life has to offer. I'm a lion. Lions eat first. I'm dominant, and
affirmating all the way. I love it. I love it.
And just keep on doing that. And then I write out my affirmations.
I'm going to say something. Listen, everyone at home. This guy's a very successful guy. He's at the top of his game. He's actually in the elite category. So Anthony Robbins, you said you liked him. He says something that always sticks with me. Success leaves clues. Listen to what he's doing there, because you'll find all our achievers, they prep their day, they prep their mind before they start it. I was with my friend Dapper last the other day. He said, I don't get up and go gym and get my mind in the right state. I have a depressed day. We have to create our mind state, and what he's just doing there, I think that's phenomenal. That he's taking that much, saying that much time. It ain't really, is it? How long does it take you? A couple of minutes?
Yeah.
So maybe 5 minutes. What is that? 4,400 minutes in a day or something like that. If you can't spend 5 minutes to work on yourself, you don't deserve to be successful. So success leaves clues. Get on that. Honestly, I'm gonna do the mission statement myself starting tomorrow. Yeah, I love that one. That's a good one.
So tell me about a relationship that you had with Paul Gascoigne and also Dame Kelly Holmes.
It weren't with Dame Kelly Holmes. It was a quick one. I'm sort of become friends with her. I sort of done just analysed her mindset really. I looked at I studied a lot of celebrities at the elite category, like what I'm saying you're in your world. The elite category. I don't like judging people that are good at what they do. I want to study the mindset of the fucking best. I don't want to study a British champion. I want a world champion. I don't want a millionaire. I want a billionaire. I see what the elite do, and she's in the elite category. She's an Olympic gold medalist. So in amateur running, she's the elite. That's it. So her mindset was the same things that I find out from everyone. Most people don't do good at school. She only passed. I think she said she passed English and maths. That's all she needed to get in the army. So her fucking mindset just made her get them two. She didn't care about anything else, so she got into the army. But she was visualising at a young age, being an Olympian and being in the British Army, like some hype. I don't really understand the army, so I didn't really study it at school. But she wanted to be sort of up in the army. And it's mad that she didn't know what she was doing, but guess what? She had these constant things in her mind, and she become a great runner in the army, and that was her way. And I think she was like 31. She was old when she she wasn't old, but to be able to get to the place that she didn't break those world records, it should have been someone younger. But she had a mind will always control the body. Yeah, the body what they say, the body achieves what the mind believes, and there you go. She done it. So I was doing a lot of studied her mindset with Kelly, and she's a beautiful woman, really lovely person. And Paul Gascoigne, through a friend of mine, he heard of me through some other celebrity agents. And they said, like, you got to see Robert Hisee, like, boom, boom, boom. So he was in a rehab the first time I met him. And
because he's had his fair share
of problems. It was funny, it was, because Stephen Davis was in the same rehab. And I didn't know till I got there. So I went down there. And I did know, actually, the day before I went, he told me Steph's there. So I went, he's had his fair share of problems. But I went down to see him. And as I walked in, I see him standing there, and out of nowhere come little Steph, Robbie, jumps, put her legs around me. I'm like, fucking, Paul, this legend sitting there, and I've got Stephen Davis with her legs wrapped around me, and there, give me a cuddle. Hello, mate. And said hello, and I went and sat down, but he ruined me. She's fucking great. I know. So Steph's, and like, just give her a cuddle. She went, I'll see you later. I went, oh, good luck, babe. And as she walked out, it was like a container outside. You were not allowed in the rehab. And as I walked over to him, he went, what's he saying? Fuck me, son. He went, you want to get off those sunbeds? You look fucking orange. And he started cracking up laughing. So he just dug me out straight away. He was drugged out his head, but he was really funny. You know, every time I've met him, he cries. Like, so, you know, I don't think there's any cure for Paul Gascoigne. I think he's further than ADHD, maybe. I think he's definitely got his autism, autistic traits. You know, if you watch him play football, he never done as he's told. He had that hyper focusing, boom, he just fucking, you know, he'd be a defender, he'd be up front, the managers would go mad, he'd run everywhere he wanted, didn't he, once he had the ball. And he weren't scared. Like, a lot of people with ADHD, they're not scared of taking a chance, where he'd have a dig from the halfway line. That's how confident he'd be. So I think a lot of the time, highly successful people, sometimes they go out of the ADHD into autism. I don't think Paul needs to be looked after. That's my personal opinion. I don't think he's ever going to be stable without someone keeping an eye out. And his manager at the time he had some shit manager who just abused him, took the piss for years, really. He's just stick him when he's flat down at Bournemouth, I heard, and he'd piss his life, drink his life away, you know. But this guy come and took him off of him, and he really looked after him. He put him in, paid for him to go in rehabs. His name was Shane, lovely, I think it's Sean Shane. Really looked after him, took him out the area, you know, to put him near a fishing thing. But, you know, every now and again he'd jump out and booze still. But, you know, self-medicating is a part of ADHD and autism. I'd say he's more Asperger's-y on that sort of spectrum, Paul Gascoigne. So you're not going to get no miracle with that, you know, because the deformity of the brain is the deformity of the brain. But I've got ADHD, you know, that's what I've got. It's in the...
same, yeah.
You've got it, yeah. It's I can't think what the word is now. It's a thingy disease, isn't it? It's in with the autoimmune disease. I never found that out the other day. I never knew that. Okay. It was part of that. So with him, you're never going to... But that's what made him so great. That's what made him so phenomenal. What people say looks at what lets him down is the things that give him the skills and the bottle to go fuck you and still do it. You know, he couldn't switch off. His mind couldn't switch off. He was telling me loads of stories, like when he nicked an emu out of was it an emu or an ostrich? He nicked it out of. You see it tied up outside the. It's the belt of a story. He was laughing. He was telling me. He said I was outside the zoo, and he see the geezer tied an ostrich up. So he said, I've got it. And he said like a little schoolboy. He started laughing. I put it in the back of the car. So he's got this emu or an ostrich. So he got it in the motor somehow. God knows that. He's drove it to the football training. I don't know who he was with at the time. I can't remember. It was up north somewhere. He said, I've got it out of the car, stuck it on the pitch, and gone, Gaffer, I've got a good player out there for you. He said he's a bit lively, I was saying. He said I've walked out and there's this fucking ostrich right up and down the thing. He's just jawed it from the zoo, yeah. And he said it's mad when you're running, all of a sudden this ostrich is like flying past you. He said it's right surreal. He said, but all the boys went, we're going pub, Gaz, are you coming? And he went, I'll get the ostrich. And they left me. He said it took me 2 hours. I said, you know how fucking hard it is to catch an ostrich? And he had to get back to the zoo. Do you know what I mean? Like, some of his stories are unbelievable. Really funny guy. Yeah, just the comical fella. That's just silliness, you know. But he was a lovely man, full of fun, but you know, at the end of the day, he's I feel my professional opinion is someone to sort of keep an eye on him, look out for him, which that Shane was doing a good job of, you know. Yeah. Really good.
Even though I'm not a health expert, When I read a lot of stuff, because being a boxer, training all the time, and just thinking about if my physical and in my body, if that's healthy or as best as it can be, everything else typically gets better in your life. Yeah. If you're healthy, then you start having healthy relationships, etc.
90% of the serotonin comes from your gut. It ain't from your brain, actually. It's from your gut.
Right. So when I've been listening to, like, let's say nutritionists or health perceived experts, etc., a lot of them simplify cancer, heart attacks, strokes, etc., with a few similar things. Cell degeneration, there's blockages, acidicness in your body. You've got your body's rife for disease because the stuff that you've been putting in it. Yeah. And is it as simple as that with what you do in regards to someone's got an addiction with weight or drugs or drink or self-harm or abuse or limiting belief? Does it all come down to the same core kind of strategy and same core kind of limiting belief from your client?
Sometimes yes, sometimes no. You can't generalize things. That's, I think, what psychotherapy do wrong. Not one person's the same. What'll work for you ain't going to work for me. Okay. I could tell you, that's why these silly hypnotists out there do. They write a fucking script for one person. Law of averages says it can't work for 10 of you. Do you know what I mean? Because you've got different beliefs. You've got to find out people's maps of the world, where they're coming from, what's the cause. You might be scared of a bus because you got run over on it. Someone might be scared they got stabbed on the bus. They're not scared of the moving bus. They're scared of being on the bus, but someone's scared of the moving bus. You see what I mean? So you say, I'm scared of heights. No, you're not. You're scared of looking over the edge. Some people can sit in a plane, look out the window, they're fine. They can go up the Shard, have a dinner, they're fine. The minute they go outside and they see the edge, then they fucking can't move. So it ain't the fear of heights. So it's so, everyone's there's a little bit different. Everyone's the same, but to remove the trauma, there can be different things, but you can 1,000,000% change anything. If you can discipline yourself enough, anything can be rewired through meditation and visualization. That is the truth. Like, you ain't got to go back and remove it. That just makes your life easier and less painful, and you can do it. But if you close your eyes and learn how to meditate, watch a guy called Dr. Joseph Dispenza. He's dedicated his life to proving you can think yourself well. And if you look at him through meditation, he does it all through science. It's all backed up. He looks at your DNA. People start meditating for the first 30 days. They're telomeres, which are like a shoestring-like structure that comes off at the end of your DNA, and that's how they can read your life expectancy. It can grow within 30 to 60 days by just meditating without visualizing, like 10%. That just means you've got 10% of your life back. Wow. So there's some powerful benefits. There's hormones that release that can shrink tumors when you meditate. The average person that meditates for 4 minutes a day, studies show, lives 7 years longer on average. So just by meditating alone, let alone putting the visualizations in. But if you meditate, it's good for you anyway. All health benefits, it's amazing. But you're going under that operating system. You're taking away the analytical mind. That's the mind that fucks you up. That's the devil, not the angel. I want to do this, but don't want to do that really because it's too much. You've got so many programs that you're already running, and the unconscious, once it's in that unconscious, will always override it. Yeah. So we need to go under the analytical mind, create that visualization in that state, affirmate in that state. See, affirmations don't work for everyone. They can take a long time to get used to doing it, because I say I'm beautiful, I'm strong, I'm powerful, and the rest of the day you go, I'm such a fucking idiot, I'm so useless, I'll never have any luck. You're not realizing you're doing it. It's just your subconscious programs when you're talking to people. So they ain't gonna do anything. Yeah. Also, when you say, so say if you want to affirmate, I want to eat apples, right? And you say, I like apples, I like apples, I like apples. Well, your brain don't know what you're talking about. There you go, what apples? Apple Macintosh, Apple iPhone, green apples, cooking apples, red apples. You've got so many different apples. What are you talking about? You have to put the vision to it to be specific as well. So if you put the vision with the affirmation, you're now accessing the feeling, and you've got all your VAK, visual, audio, kinesthetic, starting to program. So I recommend do both. So if you're looking at, you want to become wealthy, keep saying I'm a millionaire, while you're visualizing all the things that you want. Visualize your company running. You might not have a company, it doesn't matter. See yourself with staff, office staff, I don't know if it's, you've got vans and drivers and builders or whatever working for you, whatever it is. Close your eyes and visualize that, yeah? And then affirmate over the top of it. That is the most powerful way. And within 30 days, you rewire that system. You keep going for 60 days because the average is 30 days. Some people say it's 21 days to make a habit. To be fair, it's not really true. It's more like 28 to 30. That's why I say go 30. And then you really want to still sustain it. What's the point of stopping? Go for another month. And then things like you say, things start coming to you. Things just start, doors start opening, and people come to you with what you're looking for. It's really weird because you're in that quantum world, which is a bit deep to go into. But if you look at the law of vibration, everyone talks about the law of attraction, but the law of vibration is the first law of the universe. There's no fucking other laws in the universe like law of vibration. You can't understand law of attraction unless you understand the law of vibration, the law of divine oneness. They're pretty easy to understand. So the law of vibration is everything's made of energy, a part of matter and energy, but majority energy. So if we looked under
a frequency,
every particle of energy will be on the frequency. Yeah. So if I looked at me and you our eyes can't zoom in and see it. Yeah. But if we put a microscope on this bit of wood, and we could get down past the molecules, the atoms and protons and neutrons, the smallest thing we can get is like a little subatomic particle of energy, very small little particle of energy vibrating, yeah? And we can read the frequency. Say if it's at 72 hertz. And if I got your watch and we zoomed in, and that could be at, 23 hertz, right? So you've got 73 and 23 hertz, yeah? If you put them two particles and energies together, we got the law of rhythms, one of the laws of the universe later on, but one of them's faster than the other. What happens? Speed creates energy, more energy, kicks it away. Like kicking a fucking football, yeah? They can't attract and come together. So at source level, to make this table, we have the particles of energy at 33 hertz, and you get another particle at 33 hertz, they vibrate in rhythm, they magnify together and become one. That's the first building block of that thing. And then another particle comes in and they start to build up, and the frequencies of the protons and neutrons and the atoms, and one and two atoms makes a molecule, and a molecule builds into compound, and before you know it, you've got fucking bricks, water, your eyeball, your hat, whatever it is, yeah? So even oxygen. Everything at source level becomes energy, and like can only attract like. So what are your emotions? Your emotions are energy in motion. Emotion. That's all it fucking is. It's not butterflies in your stomach flatting about. There's just fucking movement of a feeling of electric energy sort of moving through there. It feels like butterflies. Your guts ain't even moving. Nothing's happening. It's just energy. So when they saying, you attract what you feel. So your thoughts put out what you want, but then your emotion you've got to visualize having it. That's what pulls it back to you. So you've got to be in, like you saying earlier about what you're doing there. You're creating the emotion of outcome. You talk in outcome. Muhammad Ali talks in outcome. I'm the greatest. I'm the next heavyweight champion of the world. I'm Robert Hisee. I'm the UK's #1 unconscious mind therapist. I don't give a fuck what no one sees in me. I see it in myself. Now everyone introduces me as that wherever I go. Yeah, but I had to see it and believe it. No, people don't get. People might usually think he is at the beginning, but now I prove it. I'm beating therapists around the world within hours, what they can't do in years. So it does start to find you will attract and learn the skills to be what you are. So when you're visualizing and you're seeing yourself as that entrepreneur, as that athlete, or as that in that relationship, and you close your eyes and you see it and you start to access those emotions, now you're transmitting exactly what you want. So your energy, what you're putting out, now starts to pull back. The second law is the law of divine oneness. That means that me and you are connected even now. We can't fucking see it, but by little particle by particle by particle, we are connected. And and through energy, we can send signals instantaneously. I mean, think about a mobile phone. You could be in Australia, there's like a second delay. All them miles. How's that work? It's amazing, isn't it? So
amazing, yeah.
So imagine how your frequency works with your emotions. It's even stronger. There's no time delay. They took a particle and put a splitter, they cut it in half, some particle of energy or something. They split in half, some cell or whatever. It was a cell. They cut it in half and they put the other part in Paris. This was done in the 90s. They one in the UK. When they disturbed the half in the UK, yeah, the one in the other half of the particle in Paris, instantaneously with no time delay, moved as if it was getting it, and then they hit it again. The weird thing that happened, quantum physics is spooky, as Einstein said. When they tapped the one in the UK after a few times, the one in Paris moved a little bit before it got tapped, as if it knew it was going to get tapped before it even got tapped. It is mad. Quantum physics, I won't go into it, but you do think, why have I just learned that? Because you don't know what to do with it. There's so much knowledge we've got that we don't know. So we're not, once we can understand quantum physics, I'm sure we can cure anything. But at the moment, it's all new. So, but bearing that in mind, energy and motion, you have to feel that you have it to attract, to bring it to you. So that is That is the main focus. You can't think greater than your emotion. There's never been a human being in 2 million years while experiencing the emotion of sadness can make a happy thought, Steve. If you feel sad, you make sad thoughts. If you feel anxiety or you make an anxious thought that triggers anxiety, oh, one of my birds cheating on me. All of a sudden, you feel that anxiety. Now the brain checks you in the body and goes, you're feeling fucking anxious right now. I better make more correspondent thoughts. And it starts making more correspondent thoughts. She's definitely, well, what time she's coming home from work? And all of a sudden, people get paranoid. Or if they're going to lose their job or someone's, having them over, or they think they've got illness, their mum's got cancer and they think I've got cancer and they start making anxious thoughts. So if you feel confident, you go, I can do this. Yeah, it's easy. You stay calm and relaxed about it. If I got it, I won't care anyway. I'll get rid of it. It won't live in my body. So, you can only think how you feel. So everyone's working on their fucking mindset where it shouldn't be. They should be focusing on their emotions. So what you're doing there on a daily basis with your checking out your visualizations in the morning, seeing what you're going to have, doing your affirmations, you're prepping your emotion before your day. You're like, yeah, come on, boom, let's go. And you're creating the emotional intelligence before you even start your day. And as you practice that, it becomes an unconscious program. You're downloading it. So now it's a choice. It's a choice to feel good. It's a choice that I'm fucking doing this today. I ain't feeling like that. You start making the effort. I didn't do my thing yesterday. Bollocks, what an idiot. I'm doing it today. I'm doing it tonight. And you make a choice to go and do it. But you're allowed to do that now because it took you a while before it become the new familiar territory, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's interesting stuff, man. I actually love all this stuff because I think whether you're in business, you're an athlete, whether you're a family person, a mum, dad, whatever, this can really help everybody. And unfortunately, as you said, it's not spoke about enough in schools.
It's not. They don't want you to know that. And the teachers, they've got no vision. I said to my kid before, I went, if you ever listen to your teacher to pick a career, I fucking never hit you, but I'll beat you up and down this road in West Kingston. He went, what do you mean, listen to me teacher? I said, listen, they're thick as shit. He was looking at me like that. What do you mean? How can the teachers be thick as shit? I went, listen, they're not thick as shit when it comes to English, don't get me wrong. Like, an English teacher's a fucking genius at English. I want you to rape his brain, get every bit of information out, and you respect him and do as you're told in that classroom, right? You have respect for him. But when you step out of the classroom, he's just your English teacher. When you go into maths, you rape his brain. He's a genius at maths. I said, but apart from that, what do you want to be when you grow up? What do you want? Obviously, kids want fucking cars and houses and they want to tour. I went, right, so you want all that, yeah? I said, let me tell you what's going to happen. What would he know about being financially wealthy? He's never left fucking school for one. He's fucking 50 years old. He's never left school, right? So he left university. He went to school, went to college, whatever. Went to university, banged himself up in 50 grand's worth of debt. He starts work at 24. He's got to pay that 50 grand off of his shit wages until he's, training wages until he's fucking 30. Right, so now it might be tax free or whatever, or interest free or whatever, but he's still fucking got to do it on his low 18, 20 grand a year wage that he could have been earning more money than that working at McDonald's from the age of 16 to then. He probably managed it by then or invested in buildings or whatever. Anyway, so now he's 30 years old. He's getting 6 weeks holidays a year. That sounds great, but he can't fucking afford to go anywhere extravagant because he's got to pay his bills and his credit card off. So now he's in his 30s and he's living on credit cards, bum, bum, bum. So financially, he ain't intelligent. So do not fucking listen to him about picking a career. He's never left school. He's never been in the world. But as a teacher, he's probably a genius. Musicians are genius at music. You say it works. You are what you think about. So I said, have respect for him, but do not have any respect for him for anything else you want to become. I'm telling you. So I put that in his head as a young age, all my kids. Like, if you want to be wealthy, I'll take you to my friends that are millionaires, boy, and we go and talk to them. They'll teach you. And it ain't going to be what you learn at school. I mean, that stuff will help you read and write and spell, and it's going to come in handy. It really will. But I'm dyslexic, can't read or write. I never went to school. I never went college or university, but I pay people to work for me that did. Do you see what I mean? I says it's the intelligence is the creation. We're creators. What was a crocodile doing 2 million years ago? It was in a swamp. Kill, sleep, eat, mate, reproduce. What's it doing now 2 million years later? Kill, sleep, eat, mate, reproduce. What have we done over 200 years? We've created planes that go higher and faster and further than any bird, cars and trains that go faster and further than any cheetah, and boats, submarines go deeper and further than any fish. We're fucking creators. Get it? Open your eyes. This is what you are. You're not an academic person. That's a knowledge we learn. But without vision, it's a waste. I'll prove it to you. How many people go and do a business degree and become a fucking PA and work with someone? I don't know, they're going to the bottle terminal in business because it's too riddled with fear, because time you get to that high academic level, you're so good at looking for problems, you're too fucking scared to take a chance. You have to get that emotional intelligence. If you're academic with vision, you don't have an easy ride. So, but people just lose that sense. We don't use our visualization, and that's where our emotional intelligence comes from, which then the academic stuff we can do ourselves or we can get others. It's not a problem, but you need to have that vision. If you want to be a creator, you can do what you want, that flexibility.
Well, yeah, so like, why do you think like the majority of people, so we're all born with massive ambitions. You ask any kid, what do you want to be? And it is wild stuff like astronauts and it's
all of
a
us.
football player, etc. But then later on in life, there's only a few people that are still very childlike. They're they're not childish, but they're childlike,
yeah.
And they're a ball of energy, and they just seem to have no limitations whatsoever. But everyone around them, and don't get me wrong, they end up in the well-qualified jobs as an accountant or as a whatever. And even though they like to have that status, in actual fact, a lot of them are not challenged creative. They're not challenged in a creative way. They're not actually truly happy. They might be earning an okay wage, and they know they're not reaching their full potential, but they're hide behind their status.
99% of people hate their job and they're scared of getting a sack. How fucking sad is that? For academic way of thinking. This is the fucking schooling system. This is it. Yeah, the schooling system teach you how not to make mistakes. As you just said, I loved you picked up on that. You give me a fucking 7-year-old, what do you want to be? I want to be a footballer. A little girl, I want to be a Spice Girl. I want to be a boxer. Or, you know, we stand in front of the fucking mirror with a tennis bat, think we're playing a guitar. We're very creative and we're visionary. We're very, creative. But what happens at school? They go, as soon as you're 7 years old, when you're little, they go, draw what you want. And you draw these silly dinosaurs. It looks fuck all like a dinosaur. And you go, well done. And I go, cheers. Then all of a sudden, you get to the age of 7. I go, stop drawing on your book. What? Don't be creative. This is how you spell. This is how you write. This is how you colour in. And how you shade. And you've all got to do it how our teacher. Because if you don't, I'm going to mark you as an F. What's that, miss? Oh, it's a failure. So if there are 1,000 kids in the school don't do the same thing the same way, they're made to feel like failures. Fucking man's that. It's brainwashing and control, yeah? And I get it. I get that the world of money and that it's not fucking real. There ain't no money, billions of pounds. These people are delusional. I've had people all the time, I can't even bother to talk about it half the time because there ain't no money in the fucking vault. There's no money in the vault. So the computer goes, press print, they burn the money, it goes back to the fucking vault and they print off what they need, yeah? And it's on a digit, it's on the fucking computer. There's never been no billions and trillions of pounds worth of notes. Like, anyway, but I get we need the money game because we had the Catholic Church before the churches, and if you go to hell, if you do bad, that was like our law. And now we've got the police forces and everything else, and we need. It's great having money, and it's great having academic intelligence and jobs. It keeps us civilized, stops all killing each other, because otherwise it'd be the maddest person on the streets would be taking everything. Yeah, so it's good that we've become very civilized. It's clever. So academic intelligence is important for our existence to move on, for evolution. We're going to have to go to space one day because the radiation would be too strong. Yeah, it's all got its place. But don't forget you're a creator. And at school, as I say, going back to it, is that a 7-year-old, they have vision. What do you want to be? I want to be a spaceman. I want to be a cricket player, whatever. You give me an 18-year-old when they leave school, like my nephew. What do you want to be, Al? Don't know, Uncle Robert. Well, like when he was a kid, he wanted to be a footballer or whatever, yeah? 18-year-old, what do you want to be? I don't know. What do you want? Well, I might be an accountant like Daddy. I said, would you like accounts? He said, no, I fucking hate it. So what do you be an accountant for? Well, I'm good at it. Well, you're good at something you don't like. You're not going to, you got to like love what you do, you know what I mean? So kids are scared of making the wrong choice. This whole schooling system is about how not to make mistakes, how not to fuck up your life, how not to fuck up your career, how not to earn money. It's all about looking for mistakes and protecting yourself. And the more academic you become, the more that becomes your mindset, and you live in fear, and you want safety, and you want to go to the same place in Dubai every single fucking year, and you want to, you don't like, you get more academic, the less they like change, especially after the age of 35. They're like a computer system of hardwired softwares that don't want nothing fucking different after the age of 35, and they become regimented to that way of thinking and living. So the schooling system does that because it takes away our vision. It's all focused on that auditory sense, as our hearing and talking and remembering and how not to make mistakes. So that's why it's so important to keep creativity in your kids. Visualize and passing. Even use it for school. Visualize yourself passing your exam. Yeah, because focusing on what you want, Steve, is more important than focusing on positivity. Because I could say to you, Steve, I'm going to fail my exam Wednesday. You'll go, Rob, be more positive. You're a therapist, mate. Come on. I go, no, you're right, Steve. I'm positive I'm going to fail my exam Wednesday. Do you see what I mean? You can be positive you're going to fail as much as positive you're going to win. So what's more important on the direction of thought? We should be thinking about what we want, our outcomes, creating those visions and end goals, affirmating them like you're doing, writing them down. And it ain't hard if you do it. You just got to apply it. But doing something that you don't normally do feels strange. You step into that river of change, it's going to feel fucking uncomfortable. I tell people all the time, when you go to change, it ain't going to feel joyful. Even if you close your eyes and you look fucking handsome as fucking that image with that new body, you do it every day. Oh, I'll do it later. It's easy for the subconscious program to go, well, you ain't got time, and it just relax. You know, bollocks. We've got to get that vision in our head. We've got to keep going with it. Close your eyes, visualize it. Keep seeing what you're seeing, hear what you hear, feel what you're feeling. It's a couple of minutes a day. So, you know, then crack on. You can laugh and cry. You might have a good or bad day, but let it go. Don't try to figure out how to get there. That's another big thing. Just let it go. So I hope that answered your question.
Do you know what I like about, it's almost like trust the process. It's a bit like electricity, yeah? I don't know how, I kind of got some of the foundations to how it works, but in reality, I'm a normal bloke.
What's it look like? What does it look like? What is it?
Yeah. If I come into a room, turn on the light switch, I don't really understand how that works, but I enjoy the benefits from
of it. Yeah.
So rather than try and work out how it all works, realize it does, and just enjoy the benefits of it. Think about that part rather than how to.
I love that.
It's like a car, right? You jump in a car, Ferrari can go 200 miles per hour. I don't know how the petrol's being combusted, and I don't know how that piston is firing that piston, but I just know that if I get in it, put my foot down and steer, I'm going to get to that destination. It's going to sound great and I'm going to feel great.
That's right.
And you just got to enjoy the process, and you got to know it does work, basically, and believe in it.
Believe in the outcome.
Yeah.
And that's because as well, it's correct to think like that, because if you're visualizing just the outcome and then not thinking about how to get there, you ain't changing your focus. But what people do is go, that's what I want. They visualize it and open their eyes and they go, how long is it going to take? You just fucked it up. How much money is it going to cost? You fucked it up. The minute you ask a question, how, when, or why, you shift your vibration in the law of vibration from attraction to doubt. So you spend 90% of the day in doubt and expect to attract what you want because you was in that vibration for 5 minutes. So it's about visualizing, getting in that attraction and letting it go. And then you've got your reticular activating system. Do you know what that is? You've heard of that?
Yeah, so it's the part back of your brain, and you'll find certain things which are related to that particular goal.
So what you focus on. Yep, that's exactly it. So
like a yellow Lamborghini, you
see them everywhere.
I open up a magazine, this one in there.
That's it. That's exactly it. So it's a group of neurons at the back bottom of the brain, opposite pituitary gland, that works as a filtering system. So exactly, if you said, if we have a conversation, I might walk down the street, and if I don't know it's a yellow Lamborghini, I know it's fucking yellow, I don't know, Fiesta. Like, it's weird. You don't never see them, but now you do. So when your missus is pregnant, it's like everyone becomes pregnant. I always tell this story. Like, I went in with my first child, and Mum went, Rob, I bumped into Julie across the shop. Guess what? Her aunt's only having twins, got to be saying in the water. Everywhere I go, people having babies. It's just that my mum's filter's changed because she's going to be a nan for the first time. So you stop seeing babies until your missus is pregnant. It feels like everyone's fucking pregnant everywhere you go. You start noticing the buggies, the shops, when you buy a car, you know it's the car you buy. So this filter is called the reticular activating system, and you can program it. But what happens is, if you're visualizing your end goal, and you visualize it and you think, yeah, I'm now, and then you start to change your vision and start to then change the focus of that to how you're going to get there. Now you see an obstacle you've got to overcome. Now the RAS and thinks, right, we've got to overcome obstacles. So it starts looking for more obstacles you've got to overcome. Then another obstacle. Before you know it, you're building a brick of fucking obstacles. You can't see the end goal anymore. You're too big. And I'll leave that. I'll start again later. And people get caught up on the how, when, or I've got no money. I can't afford it. Got the mortgage. And they think analytically with their life experience in that, in that linear time way of thinking. Well, we should be just like, it sounds so simple, but it's how you got to do it. You got to close your eyes, visualize that end goal, open your eyes, and crack on with your day. Don't worry about how you're going to get there. It's none of your fucking business. You ain't that clever. That's the truth of the matter. None of us are. It's like, you talk about a car. Imagine having a sat-nav. I'll go to you, right, get in the car. There's my postcode. I'll see you in half hour. But before you get in the car, what car's going to be at the front of you, the next set of traffic lights? How are you going to, what position are you going to be in? Are you going to be at the front? Are you going to be the third car back? Where are you going to be? You can't predict that shit anyway. Even if you put a sat-nav on, you can't predict the journey. So it's the same with this. You just put the sat-nav on, you mind your own business. You let the RS them tell you and command you on a daily basis when it's ready to tell you to do a left or a right. And that's as simple as that. But I recommend everyone listening to this, go on YouTube, and Mel Robbins has got a woman called Mel Robbins has got a good one. I think it's called like so many billionaires do their mindset or something. But type in reticular activating system, Mel Robbins, and you should see it. It's a really good video on it. It's really good, explains it and shows a lot of. It's good to watch and see imagery as well. But
I always like to ask people, especially on this subject, is there any like other courses that maybe you provide or people that you admire or get actually influence from?
Yeah, I do.
And also documentaries maybe on Amazon or on Netflix or on Vice, anything that we can watch.
I'll tell you what's a good emotional one to watch. Anthony Robbins has got one at the minute on Netflix called I'm Not Your Guru. It's good to see him go work because it's similar work to what I do. I've got an academy called the UMT Academy, www.umtacademy.com, and I teach people the unconscious mind therapy, and it's really quick to learn it as well because I don't deal with the content, I deal with the processes like we've been talking about here. And you learn hypnotherapy there as well. You learn how to write your own scripts and how to freestyle scripts when you need to be spontaneous. I teach you like timelines, personality types, about energy, quantum physics, like it goes on and on and on. So if anyone wants to learn, it's great to learn for yourself anyway. I recommend that everyone should learn unconscious mind therapy because it's good for your life. No matter what you want to do it for. If you're a businessman, if you're a sportsman, it's going to be amazing. You're going to understand more in depth who you are and what you're going to do and have a toolkit to use it. And if you want to be a therapist, you're going to get quick results and, you're going to change people's lives. And that's not only do you make money helping someone, that you're changing someone's life. The buzz you get from that's amazing. So umtacademy.com is where I teach. I like it. I've trained a psychotherapist. I get buzzes from this as well. Now I've started training people. There's a guy called Tanner Hassan. He's a good friend of mine now.
Not the movie actor.
Not Tanner, Tanner. And Tanner, he's a top psychotherapist in Colchester. He runs the NHS there. And he said all these years, he loves what he does. He said, I can't remove trauma. He said, how frustrating it is. This is my life's work, and I help people with addiction and things, but I can't remove trauma. And he came on my course. In 5 days, he said it's changed my life from like psychotherapy, feeling like it's a little bit black and white, to now going to colour and getting all these changes. And he said he's going to help me try to get it in the NHS. He's been speaking to people because he's getting results, and the other psychotherapists going, "Hey, doing that, Tan?" And he's telling them, and they're like, "Wow, it makes so much sense." So, hopefully one day I'll build my brand and get into he's betting that CBC shit out there where you get six lessons on talking about the problem. So this is what winds me up. The RES system, reticular activating system, was discovered like 10 years ago. These neurons and what they were doing. It goes against everything fucking psychotherapy and CBT is doing. You can't keep talking about anxiety and become confident because the unconscious is only going to show you more proof that you have anxiety. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? If you keep talking about, I'm anxious, all of a sudden it shows you everything that you have anxiety everywhere you go. You notice things on the TV program. You notice something in a song that reminds you that you're anxious. You have to focus on being confident. And sometimes we have to disassociate from our real life and go into the quantum world and go into our imagination and to be able to do that.
Yeah. So you got two bestseller. You're a bestseller author times two. You got the Holistic Retreat, and obviously you're doing some really fantastic stuff with, I would say, typical individuals that start going through problems, and then high-profile people such as the Paul Gascoignes, etc. of this world. So, what's next for you, mate? In the next 5-10 years, where are you going to be, Robert?
Well, America. I want to take over America. That's my next mission. Yeah, I love to live in it. Not full time. I've got kids here, so I like to bounce between here and LA. I just love LA. Love the vibe of it. It's just my thing. But I've got an app coming out. So I started off with one of my best-selling. I've got The Power of You, a best-selling book. It's really good for mindset.
Is that audio?
Not audio, just on Amazon.
Okay.
But then I've got the Manifestation Journal, which is similar to what you've been doing. So it helps people, put their thoughts down on paper and keep them focused on their goals and moving forward. The Manifestation Journal. .co.uk. It's just manifestationjournal.co.uk. So I've got that. That's going really, really well. But me and my business partner Ted Lawler come up with the idea of doing a manifestation app because I said, we've sold so many books, we've really done well with it. I said, but these youngsters, don't want to use books. Everything's on an iPad or on their iPhone. They read the Kindle. I said, let's do an app where they can have the app there. So we started doing this app of the Manifestation Journal. but my RES system's kicking. I'm a big visionary. Before you know it, I've got calms. Thought, fuck calms, only meditation. I think shit with them silly stories. Let's what really works. When I went to talk to people about calms who use it, and most of them, they like one song on it, and they just keep paying £8 a month just when they go to sleep or they're hungover. They put this one meditation thing. I go, Kip. So I went, right, calms. We put calms in there, and then I put my UMT in there and do videos and teach people about anxiety and depression and make some big change work in there as well. And then we're going to do breath work, like Wim Hof breathing, and get people to do breath work every day. It just went on and on. So now we've got about 9-10 things in there. So it's like most apps just the one thing. This app is like apps in apps, and we've got like a wall like Facebook. So when you subscribe, you'll be able to talk about your manifestation, your mental wealth and stuff in there as well. So it's turned into something really positive, and I'm hopefully going to have it out by the end of the year. So once I get that out, I'm going to be in the States with that as well. So I've got some meetings over there, maybe Christmas. But I want to get that. I really want to get that out and make a change in the world. But also my holistic retreat that I have in Marbella, I would like to take that to California as well. Have it and keep it in Spain, but also have it in California.
A bit of a breakdown though, because I'm interested in stuff like that, the holistic retreat. What does that consist of? What does that mean?
I started it because it's a cross between. It started off actually. I went to boot camp and I loved it, but I thought, no, they said 80% of people will come back. I said, well, don't fucking work then. I said, because they're working the body without the mind. Now, I like what you were saying earlier, you talk about the mind and body. Well, you can't have a body without a mind, and you can't have a mind without a body. They're part of the same thing. Science separate it and go, you've got a brain and you've got your body. But actually, you fucking be dead without one of them, yeah? So they're both part of the same fucking thing. They have to wire together. And this is where science go wrong. The doctors of the mind don't talk to the doctors of the body. They don't know what's happening chemically when they're doing things to the body, when they should be monitoring the both, I believe. So the retreat started off as like a boot camp with mind therapy, so just about the mindset. But what happened is, as I started to do it, more people coming for the mind. I wasn't getting overweight people. I was getting people that are just a little bit overweight, and I was getting overweight people, but I was getting people that are also fit-ish as well. It was like, this is weird, what have I done here? But people were coming for the mind. They like the fitness, and then if people are overweight, the people, we all work as a family there. It's like I call it a holistic family, because once we all meet, and by at the beginning of the week, most people come on their own as well, which is unique. And a lot of them ring me up at the end, well, I'm a bit nervous, I've never done anything on my own before, and they get there all like a bit anxious on this retreat, and by the end of the week they're all crying to people they've met. You're like a sister I've never had, I don't want to leave you, I don't want to go home. And like they've got this bonding, because throughout the week you're together. We run your food, you have a nutritionist do your food, so you ain't got to think about nothing. The minute you get up to the minute you go to sleep, your day's planned out for you. And then we're climbing mountains, we're La Concha in Spain, we do water sports, Tabata, boxercise, mind therapy every day, because that's the most important thing for people to sustain it. And it's been a beautiful journey actually, seeing people make friendships and travel the world together, and it's been a good journey so far. But COVID done me a little bit, financially knocked it out of the park. So I'm back up and running again now though. So yeah, I'm gonna keep on with that one. That's a very passionate thing of mine, that is actually. Yeah. And I think when the app comes out in years, the app's booming, I'd like to get to a place where I don't have to charge people for that. I'd like to be able to pick people who need it and send them out there for free. That's what I'll do when the app starts booming.
Yeah, that's pucker.
Yeah.
One more thing I want to ask you, I haven't got it written down here, but so in my garden, in COVID, not because of COVID, but that accelerated me doing it. I always had a goal to build my own gym, which I've done, and I use it pretty much every single morning. And it's one of the best investments ever. Not just because it puts a bit of value in your house because you built something, but also in yourself. You just feel great coming out of there. But also, my business partner goes down to David Lloyd, and one thing I'm really envious where people go down there is they've got that sauna, they've got the ice bath, etc. And I love doing that stuff. But for me to go from my house then to there just didn't make sense. Yeah. So now what I've built is I built the external, like another gym thing outside, and then there's going to be an infrared sauna. I've just ordered it from Sunlightened. Wow. The Body Coach has just been a brand ambassador David Esprit has just been a brand ambassador for Sunlightened. He wrote the book called Headstrong. And he's got Bulletproof Coffee, and the Body Coach has just been a brand ambassador for Brass Monkey, which is the ice bath. So I've ordered one of those as well.
Yeah, my mate's got one of them. They're brilliant. Yeah.
So I wanted from a mindset coach, infrared sauna and also that what they call it, lymphatic flush, where you go from hot cold. There's a lot of ties to your mindset and also emotion behind that. Is there anything you know a bit more about that, or how much you support it?
I support it. I support the cold. I love the cold. Yeah, shocking your body into that cold is so good for you because you release 350% more dopamine a day just by jumping in a cold shower. Just for a minute, just jump in a freezing cold shower, or have your shower and turn it on freezing cold and shock your system. Yeah, fire up those cells. Just that alone is going to make you feel better. And I'll get out of the shower, have a shower every day, and that's what I'll do, whack it on the cold. And I find myself, I don't know why I do it, but it makes you feel buzzing. I end up going, whoa, whoa, don't make me feel like, you know what I mean? What's the noises that come with it? But you just feel like you're buzzing. So I definitely recommend that. I mean, if you haven't seen anything on Wim Hof, if you've seen much of Wim Hof's breathing and stuff, it's, no, the breathing's different. The breath work's different. I'm thinking about the breath work now, getting confused. But yeah, I mean, the cold's good for you. He says, if you go to the cold before the cold comes to you. Yeah, a good saying, isn't it? So the cold's got a lot of goodness for your body, and I recommend it to anybody. Yeah, I love walking out into the sea. I wish I lived near the sea because I'd be doing it every morning as well. You know, whenever I go abroad, I get up extra early while the sea's cold to run out there and just to do it because you just feel amazing. And when I had COVID, to be honest, I'd done a lot of healing through that. I had COVID, I nearly died. I had like pneumonia and everything. It was so bad. And months after, I was walking around like an old man. I've never been right since. I'm still working on it now. But I'm back to normal. But then I was like walking down the street like an old man for months after. And I remember my mate said, come out here. It was in Marbella, down that Golden Mile beachfront bit. Yeah, I went, sweetheart, come over. So me and my pal went over there. And every morning I got up and I got on the beach, meditated, then done my breath work, so I warmed up my inner self, and then walked into the water, doing my breathing, keeping the heat up inside myself. And I went out there, it was cold, I got my neck underneath the water always to get that autonomic nervous system underneath it, and reset your system basically. It's like a reset. And I'm not joking, after 4 days I was jogging. Couldn't believe it. I could feel inflammation. That's what it felt like. That inflammation in my body was leaving my body. And within 4 days, the transition that I felt bad. I've done this. I don't think it was a long run, like half a mile, but I jogged it really slow uphill. And I remember, I fucking loved that. It was such a good buzz, you know. And so I know if that definitely helped me, jumping that freezing cold sea every morning, meditating. On the last day, I got bit by a fucking jellyfish. As it done, duck.
But that definitely livened you up.
Yeah.
Well, what I like about the cold shower stuff, and also when I get this ice bath installed in October, it's not just like the physical, mental, sort of the emotional benefits of it and everything else, but it's also that mindset that I've just overcame for 3 or 4 or 5 minutes, a really tough challenge, and now the rest of my day is going to be a doddle.
Yeah, it's like true.
It's like part of the reason why I love boxing so much is because of the training, but specifically sparring. Now, unfortunately, I was meant to go this morning. I got a bit of an injury in my right arm, so I couldn't do it. But when I go sparring, and you spar 5, 6, 7 different fellas, some are better, some are worse. But regardless, you know, you're giving digs, you're taking digs, and you're progressing through it. I tell you what, you come out of that and you are buzzing, and you're thinking to yourself, it doesn't matter what happens today in business. I've just gone through a five times, and nothing now is going to come close to what I've just been through. Yeah, and you just.
I love that mindset. See, success leaves clues. Everyone, keep listening. Yeah, and I like David Goggins. If you watch him, I see him say something. It really resonated good. He said, "When I get up in the morning, I see my trainers near the door. Do you think?" Oh, what a nice day to go for a run. He said, not once in my life thought it's a fucking lovely day to go for a run. He said, I look at them trainers and think, fuck you, I don't want to put them on, yeah? He said, everything in my mind goes, do it tomorrow. You've done 15 miles yesterday, have a fucking break. He said, every day them voices going mad. He said, I hate every minute. Putting them on, I'm hating it. He said, but when I come back through the door, and I think, fuck you, I beat a little bit of me today. I beat me today. He said, that's when the buzz kicks in. And then for the rest of the day, like you said, I'm on this high, like nothing can touch me. He says, when you come through the door, you feel the buzz. It ain't when you go out to leave. Yeah. And I like that. It's a good, do something that makes you feel uncomfortable every day till it becomes the normal. Yeah. That's what he says, doesn't he?
Really enjoyed this conversation.
Mate. Yeah, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
This is the last question. So when I first started my business, when I was like 24, 25 years of age, not this current one, another one, come up with a mantra, and the mantra goes like this: and I try and stick to it every single day, and it's even in my gym and in my kitchen. And it goes like this: be happy, never content. Now, I've got my own interpretation of that. If I were to ask you, Robert, what does be happy, never content mean to you?
Be happy means you can only be happy through movement. If I sat here happy now, just smiling, and I said, what are you happy for, Rob? I went, oh, like cakes, or like chocolate cakes. I'd be a fucking nutcase. That'd lock me up. You can't just be happy for no reason. You have to have a reason, a movement. So to be happy, to me, it means to move forward. I've got to have a goal, and I keep moving towards them goals. When I achieve them, you feel buzzing, but then you're going to come down again, so you need something in place. So to be happy, I need to keep moving forward. So that's what that means to me, being happy. Doing what I do now, really, creating goals, creating businesses. Don't matter if you win or lose, you fail or succeed, just keep fucking going. And what was the next bit again?
Never content.
Never content is depression, right? The content is fucking weak. People don't understand you're going to get depressed because the mindset of success is having your thoughts going from here and now to the future, here and now to the future. You're going to feel good. You're going to feel motivated. You're going to feel love. You're going to feel confident. You're going to feel, drive, high self-worth. If your mindset keeps going around there, the emotions you're going to feel. When your emotions go from here and now to the past, here and now to the past, and if that's 80% of your thought process, you're going to feel anxious, depressed, lonely, low self-worth, low motivation, low drive, fear, worry, scared, all the crap emotions. So, say that again, I'm going off my
Be happy, never content.
Never content. So what happens is with contentment, you can make all your money and make all your businesses or meet the love of your life, but once that starts to become the new norm, you become content with what you got. You stop creating goals. The minute you stop creating goals, your brain makes 58,000 to 68,000 thoughts a day. So if you're not creating thoughts, the thing is going to go, well, I've got to think about fucking something. So it goes into your brain, which is like your hard drive, a USB stick, if you like, of all your memories from the day you were born to today. And it's going to pull something out from your memory. And it's going to think about it because you ain't directing it. So if you think of a good memory, if someone said like, Rob, you know what? See me 3 years ago, mate. I know I looked good back then. What have they just told me? I don't look good now in the present moment. So a good memory reminds you it's not as good now. And if you think of a bad memory, you bring back that chemical balance in your mind and body of what you felt at the time. So I think about my dad dying, I close my eyes and I start remembering my dad, or thinking about my dad dying of cancer, I'm going to start feeling the fucking trauma in the moment. So I think of a bad memory, you bring it back. If you bring a good memory, it reminds you it's not as good now. So there's no fucking goodness of keep looking in the past. You're going to become depressed. So when you become content with what you've got, that's why they say, oh, being rich don't make you happy. No, but being poor does make you sad. That's a fucking fact. Most breakups are through financial stresses at the moment.
Definitely.
But not having enough money will make you sad, but having money don't make you happy. Yeah, it does when you're fucking making it and you're getting it. When you come from nothing, it's a fucking buzz, don't get me wrong. But once you get used to it and that becomes the new norm and that becomes your new standard, you've raised your standards and that just becomes the new familiar, and you become content with that, you become fucking a pussy mindset and you become weak and you start fucking thinking of the past, you become depressed. So content, when you retire, you get content. You're not fucking happy. You become miserable. You're dying. The minute you become content in your thought, you're already dying. Most people they get this job at 18, 20 and they fucking die. They're already dead, but they bury them at 75 instead of 18. Like, you need to keep creating. Human beings are creators. This is what we do. Everything gets made twice. We need to keep fucking creating. So contentment will equal depression. That's my outlook on it.
Top man.
Cheers, brother.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much as well. Really enjoyed it.
I hope everyone's got a lot of value from it. Obviously, follow Mr. Robert Hisee over here. And listen, be happy, never content, and let's keep on smashing it, people.
Love that. Thank you very much. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Cool, mate. Top man.
Thank you, brother. I really enjoyed that, mate. Thank you.
Wicked.